Hey guys, this is Josh from Midnight Auto, bringing you back on the 83 S10 we've got going on here. So, my last video, I tried to at least start fixing the 1.9 that was in it. Now, listen to me for a second, guys. Seriously. My original intention was to fix the 1.9, the Isuzu motor that was in this. Now, I got the cylinder head off and I figured out that the head gasket wasn't just blown, it was nuked. And the thing did not look good. Also, to pull the front cover on this, you gotta pull the oil pan off to pull the timing or the oil pump out to get the front cover off of it. And if I've gotta pull the motor out of this thing, it's hard to justify putting 80 horsepower back in this thing. Especially when I have a 305 Chevy and a turbo 350 hanging off to the side that were at my disposal. Really, all I had to do is go pick up the mount kit, and you're gonna follow along with me as we yank that little 4-cylinder out of this and start installing a small block Chevy, which is a common swap. It's been done to death. I'm doing my own take on it because there are a lot of guys who will go over, give you the 10,000 foot view of it. I kind of want to get you in on the nitty gritty to show you. And the other thing too is it's an 83. It may not be super classic, but it's also one of those things where you have to realize that this vehicle is 40 years old, or at least almost, which makes it older than I am. So it has earned its classic status. I know it's an S10 body style that everybody's used to, but sometimes you gotta think it is getting up there. And also too, I got another classic vehicle to do here, so bear with me, but I want to get you through the S10 and show you what's going on. All right, what we're seeing here is the new driveline for the S10, and it is the smoggiest of smog 305s. And yet again, you're gonna ask me, what the heck am I doing with a 305? Well, this 305 with a turbo 350 hooked to it, this combination cost me $0. And the other bonus is this will be a will it start, because this was pulled out of the car. It actually still had the original chain fall that was, they used to pull it out of the 77 Caprice, still hooked to this chain. So it literally got yanked out of the car, sat on the barn floor, and that's where it sat since 1995 is what he said, right around there. But it is just absolutely just nasty, greasy. I mean, it's just, I don't know how many miles are on this. And at this point, looking at it, I really don't want to know. But what we're going to do is we are going to just kind of give this thing a once over, make sure it's a worthy candidate of our time, and a good bath, because good bath is key. So I got a 5/8 ratchet here. It turns over. It even feels like it's got compression. So it's worth starting. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to get this thing cleaned up a little bit, maybe even give it the Craigslist rebuild fresh coat of paint just to make it look kind of sort of half decent. So I really don't intend on doing a lot to this thing. I may put a 4-barrel on it. I have access to the S10 swap headers, but I'm going to see if those factory cast manifolds will fit in there, because guys, we're doing this on a budget. Also, another thing I wanted to show you on the S10 that I don't think I covered in the last video is that this really is the lowest of low models. This is the base model, and it kind of really doesn't matter what driveline I put in it, because it is a manual brake, manual steering truck, which is kind of cool because there is nothing to worry about. Nothing to hook up other than a few wires and the radiator. So I'm probably going to set you down. We're going to speed up the footage a little bit, and I'm going to try to scrape as much grease as I can off this thing before we start hitting it with some gum cutter and some purple power and the power washer, and try to really get it cleaned up, because it is disgusting. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we are going to at least power wash this poor greasy thing. See what it looks like after the first round. And yes, I am going to cover the carburetor, but I hit it with some Berkebile gum cutter, and I will say this, sorry it's dark out, I ran out of daylight before getting over here, so I'm kind of doing this burning the midnight oil. It's like midnight oil repair, think about it. But we are going to at least knock the first layer of grease off this damn thing and see what it looks like. And for those of you who are curious, I'm using Berkebile's gum cutter, which is a local company to me here in Pennsylvania. It's actually based out of Somerset. And I will say this, I've used a lot of their products and they have always been just great. I've never had an issue. They've always functioned the way they've claimed they have, so I got no issues with that. But till then, I'm going to set you guys down and we're going to see how much the first round gets off. Okay, so we're going to look at this both for the first time. Hey, I can actually see aluminum on the transmission. And the vent plug is actually yellow. I mean, there's still a bunch of goop in there, and still a bunch of goop in a lot of the areas. But I'll tell you what, that initial cleaning really did good. Like I said, that stuff really works good. Because now you can actually see that hydraulic assembly in there, and I'm going to spray it all down again. I'm going to let it sit and soak for a while with purple power. But I needed something that was kind of heavy to knock off that first round of crap, so we're going to hit it with purple power, and we're going to let her marinate for a while. So we got her cleaned off. I brought her back over here and separated off the turbo 350 from the 305. Came over to the casting pad and ran all of the numbers. This came, at least I know it came out of a Caprice, but obviously Chevy small blocks get swapped over quite frequently, so application's kind of, I guess, indifferent, but I know it's a 77 305 just by the casting numbers. So if this would have been an 80 with the 355 909 casting number, if it was an 80, it'd be a 267, or in some cases a 262, depending on what it is. But I kind of wanted to walk you guys around it now that I got a bunch of the accessories and all the other BS off of it. And you can see that washing it with the manifolds on, there's still a ton of grease. There's a whole bunch of RTV on this thing, so I really get the feeling that somebody was trying to stem the leak, which I can actually see where it's coming from. If you get real close in there, let's see how close we can get. You see what I see? Nice crack in the valve cover gasket. No wonder this thing was covered in more grease than there is oil inside of it. I mean, that washing I just gave it was a preliminary. I'm gonna pull the damper, pull the timing cover, check the chain. That'll kind of give me an idea of how many miles are on this motor. Because I'd really like not to pull the heads unless there's a reason for it. So we're kind of going to determine by timing chain wear roughly how many miles are on it. I'm going to assume by the amount of grease and oil all over it's probably north of 100, hopefully less than 2. But I mean, really, it's just got to be a cruiser. It's not going to be a race engine. It never will be. It's a 305. 2-bolt main, nothing too fancy, but I wanted to kind of bring you around on it and see how it looked after we knocked at least 90% of the crap off of it that we could see. That other 10% though is a son of a gun, and it's in all the corners and crevices. Just like on this, a lot of it came clean, but as you can see, a lot of it is still just absolutely hammered in grease. Although now I can actually determine parts of this transmission at least, so it is a step in the right direction. Hey guys, so this is another day I wanted to come by. So in the first half of this video, you're good to see the 305 Chevy that I picked up for this, which cost me nothing. So it's this is getting to be a low buck build, but I wanted to bring you in, show you that right now I've got a bunch of stuff torn out. We're probably half an hour away from having the engine out of this thing. But I don't know if I ever brought you guys around on the inside of this thing to show you just how basic it is, and also how bad that rodents can eat a seat and a headliner. I've been impressed. I always figured that they went for all the soft, squishy bits and left all the headliner stuff alone. But you see the pile of parts is starting to grow in the back there. There's the turbo 350 that's going to be going in it, and believe it or not, that's the original drive shaft and the original yoke from that Isuzu transmission. And guess what? Splines match up perfectly. So I'll be I don't know, probably setting this up somewhere and letting you guys see as I get ready to pull this out. So hang with me. We'll come back to it when there's more action. All right, guys. So I think we got all the nuts and bolts and little things that you need to get this thing out. So we're gonna give it a pump or two. Oh, she's loose, so we're gonna come right back, and I'm actually gonna fast forward this and let you guys see me yank it out in Superman time. So I'll be back. So here we are, old Isuzu 1.9 laying on the ground. And it is a 1.9, it is the, I don't know if you can see it there, it is a G200 block, which I know in the Isuzu world is kind of a thing, but unfortunately, trying to find any performance parts of any sort for this thing, let alone maintenance parts, is kind of a pain without making a phone call to Japan or finding a buddy who bought out a Chevy warehouse, you know, 20 or 30 years ago. And it was so overheated. It was just, it's not worth the effort. Although there is a good Isuzu 4-speed hook to this. So, you know, if you know a guy, I may let that go. But what we're looking at here is a giant empty hole, and I'm actually proud of myself because I did that with minimal massacre. Minimal mess because, I caught most of it in the pan actually, you know, thinking. But here we are. Yep, sorry. No motor to be had. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out the motor mounts, and I am gonna aim this thing, and maybe not tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, I might power wash it and clean all the crud and nastiness under here. And I do have something for it once I get to that point, because everybody likes a good satin black engine paint. So I got DE 1635 Duplicolor, which it's an engine paint and it does hold up well. Now, some of this stuff's Isuzu stuff and it will go bye-bye because that motor's no longer going to be used. But we do have our 305 here. And I'm working hard for you guys because I'm trying to source out a 4-barrel intake, you know, an old Quadrajet or something to throw on there. We're keeping within budget standards, you know. And we're probably going to pull a harmonic balancer off this thing, pull the timing cover, replace the timing set, and maybe paint that, because I know chrome don't get you home, but once you put the water pump and everything on there, you barely see any of it anyhow. So I may just find a nice fun color for that and make it that. Like I said, keeping within budget. And if I can pull my strings just right, I found on the face space there a used performance camshaft for a absurdly reasonable cost. I mean, we're not trying to make big horsepower numbers out of this, you know, we're taking it from like 145 to like 149 3/10. But it all adds up and it'll all make a very fun, drivable truck. So guys, this is Josh from Midnight Auto saying thank you for staying to the end of the video if you made it this far. I know S10s can be a little mundane, but they are a fun truck. They're a truck that you can do anything with. It's almost kind of like a Wrangler, you know. You can order it any way you want, you can build it any way you want, and you can have a lot of fun with them. And the fact that this is an 83, it really is a classic truck. And it's in this good a shape. It's, like I said, it's older than I am, and it's probably in better shape than I am. But it's a worthwhile endeavor, and if you hang with me, my next vehicle, I have an antique that I'm going to be doing, and I think you guys really will enjoy that. So, this is Josh from Midnight Auto saying like, share, and subscribe. You know, tell a friend or two about me. I really appreciate that, and if you like it, it only takes a second of your time, and it don't cost you nothing, so I'd appreciate it, really, very much. But, guys, have yourselves a wonderful day.